If you want to achieve your goals regardless of what others say or do, you need to own your power. When others have power over you, you have fear and anxiety because you're constantly worried about what they think. And living for others will never make you happy and fulfilled. Instead, you'll be bitter, angry, and overly self-conscious. When we think of powerful people, we usually think of those in high positions of authority. But the power I'm talking about in this video is different. It's more like a hidden strength or a way of thinking that when used right can make you happier and more fulfilled. Recently I had like an eye-opening moment when I realized how much I let other people control my emotions. Imagine that you went on a date and it was terrible, and then as he's walking you home it suddenly starts to rain. None of you brought an umbrella, so you are awkwardly walking in the rain, just getting wet, not even talking to each other, not even noting the sudden change in the weather. How would that make you feel? Now imagine on the flip side, the date went amazing and then the same thing happens, it starts to rain. Now how would that make you feel? Chances are you would have complete opposite emotions, even though those two scenarios are identical with just one small difference. If you agree, it means that external factors like the rain and the other person have control over your emotions. It's as if everything except your own self have control over how you feel. When you give people and other external factors your power, it's like handing them a remote to your person. You let them decide how happy, sad, frustrated, or angry you are. Although external factors might influence our emotions, it's essential to recognize that you hold the power to determine how much these external factors have control over you. To reclaim your power, you need to accept responsibility for the events in your life. You need to acknowledge that you play a part in things going both right and wrong. If you adopt the mindset that absolves you of any responsibility, you essentially relinquish control over your destiny. Let's take the example of disliking your job. By attributing your unhappiness solely to the job, you grant it power over your emotions, yet you have a choice. You choose not to look for another job, and you choose to give up on the things that you love to do. When you give up on the things that you love to do because of rejection, you grant the person who rejected you control over your future. Just because others may not recognize your potential doesn't mean that you lack the ability to achieve your aspirations. Opting to surrender all because of opinions effectively hands these individuals power over your decisions. You might find yourself paralyzed and afraid to pursue anything because you place more value in other people's opinion than in your own self-belief. Reclaiming your own power involves establishing a success criteria that is beyond other people's opinions and feedback. You need to set goals and measures that are tangible and that can be objectively evaluated. When someone rejects you, you may feel the urge to prove them wrong. When we take this urge to the extreme, we forget our original goal. It's crucial not to let other people's opinions have too much sway over our life just to prove them wrong. Being happy and content can be so tough if we care too much about what others say or think about us. Remember, opinions, whether they are good or bad, are beyond your control, so don't assign them too much importance. Valuing positive feedback too much can lead to an endless search for more, and putting too much importance on negative opinions can make you live in fear of criticism. People's opinions should not dictate our self-worth. Not everyone is going to appreciate you and what you do. I admit it, it sucks when I know somebody doesn't like me. I personally want everyone to like me and think that I'm a good person. But the truth is, it's impossible to please everyone. Feeling hurt and losing confidence based on the fact that someone else doesn't like you gives them too much power over your self-image. There are people that I personally don't like, but I don't expect them to change who they are just because of me. It's perfectly fine when other people don't like you. It's a sign that you have unique values and characteristics. Changing who you are based on their opinions means denying those characteristics that make you who you are. Holding grudges can also drain your power. You become fixated on things that are completely beyond your control, trapping yourself in the past rather than living in the present. Letting go of those people and events grants you freedom to focus on other aspects of life. I'll be the first to accept that it's not an easy task, but once you train your mind, it's such a liberating experience. Venting is another thing that can really drain your power, and it's something that has been glamorized as a female thing to do. In theory, it should work, but it often doesn't. This is because when you talk about other people and what they did to upset you, it keeps those feelings alive. This makes you focus on negative things more and gives them power over you and how you feel. Taking back controls means not dwelling on the negative. Instead, just let it go, because in life we are bound to meet people who just get on our nerves. Dealing with such people can be so tough because ignoring them isn't always an option. I haven't figured out how to handle those people just yet, but one thing that I found has worked is trying to look at things from their perspective. Once I had a lady yell at me on the phone and I just wanted to hang up. I hate confrontation, but I listened to her, and under her anger and frustration was a request that I was able to meet. But even after I helped her, she didn't even say thank you. Instead, she yelled at me because I didn't help her sooner. Sometimes there are people who are just like this. The best thing is to look past that moment and to remind yourself that it will pass. It's okay to feel sad and frustrated and angry, but don't dwell on those emotions for too long. After such encounters, try distract yourself with something else. On the other hand, there are people who are really good at making you feel guilty. So good, in fact, that they can push you into doing things you don't really want to do. And I'll admit it, I have done this before, but I'm trying to work on it. Whenever I find myself doing it, I try to stop myself. When someone gets you to act by making you feel guilty, they gain control over you. They can make you do whatever they want. To take back that power, you need to do two things. First, you have to notice when someone is using a guilt trip on you. Second, you must have the courage to say no and not to let them take advantage of you. In the beginning, it might feel like you're being mean. You need to understand that they control how they feel, just like you control your own emotions. If they feel sad because you stood up to their guilt trip, that's their issue, not yours. It's important to speak up and stand firm even when somebody tries to manipulate your emotions. And that, guys, is how you free yourself from the grip of others. I know it seems daunting at first, but remember, change takes time and self-awareness. If you commit to practicing these steps, I can assure you, you won't be the same person a year from now. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.